Welcome, guys. This is Nicholas live here with John and David, the professional traders. We want to cover why and how we're doing the Bitcoin trade, or if we're even doing it at all. Now, this is an update we showed to our premium subscribers yesterday. Now, John, you want to tell us what happened yesterday?
Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Look, folks, we want to make sure we're sharing with you a really important transitional time in Bitcoin and how our 30-year professional trader, David, thinks we should be handling it. So let me start you out with a quick overview of the situation that you can watch on your own screen. You pull up a 30-minute chart on Bitcoin, you're going to see there's really two basic patterns fighting against each other right now. You've got a big inverse head and shoulders, which is in this bigger box. And that's bullish. That means Bitcoin should be going up, but it didn't make it up, and it converted into this smaller bearish head and shoulders in the current price the last couple days. So there's no way to know for sure which way it's going to go. This is how it works. Buying and selling shows up in these patterns. And that's why you want to make sure that you get somebody who knows how to trade, walking you through how to be safe and manage this. So, David, I'll turn it over to you and tell them what you're looking to do in terms of trading.
Thanks, John. Well, as you can see on the chart, we've had on the daily chart there, we've been in this 9,400, say, to 11,200 range for about 10 days. We've been turning up from the 9,400 up to 11,200, and now we've walked almost all the way back down. Nowhere in that area, in that range, is really providing a great entry for a long trade. So what we're going to give you today is something to look for. We'll watch Bitcoin going forward, and there's a couple of ways that we can play this. First way would be to buy on a breakout, and that is if we break through that congested range up at the top at 11,200, we'll put a long up there. If we get that trade and we're filled at 11.2, we're going to put our stop just above 10,000 at around 10,200, where John has drawn that support line, because that's if we go back down through that, we're liable to see mid nines again and be back in this current range. This way we restrict our risk to 100 points. And we can have a target on this trade of about 13.5. I would put it in that 13. My first target would be 13.5, maybe up to 14,000, but let's call it 13.5 for now. And that's giving you, again, a nice 2-to-1 ratio of reward to your risk, since we're going to have about 2,200 points on the upside and 1,000 on the downside. The other way of trading this is if Bitcoin continues to sell off through the rest of the day or two, we could start scaling in and buying. I would probably buy a third around 9,000. I'm going to buy another third maybe at 8,750, and my last third around 8,500. So scale in above that. If you remember correctly, that 8,400 level we think is really, really key. So this is just going to be a short-term trade that allows you to scale in as you approach that, assuming, and we are assuming that support will come back in at 8,400. So with this trade, we're starting in at 9,000. We're going to scale it down to 8,500, but we're going to have a tight stop on this. That if this thing continues down and goes below that 8,400 key level, we could see this thing going back down and retesting in the sixes. So we're going to have a stop of about 8,100. With the thought is that if it goes down below 8,000, we're going to be looking at the mid sevens, and we're going to keep this one really tight. Our target on this trade, assuming we are getting in between 9,000 and 8,500, is going to be back up to around 10,500, which again, you can see the congestion there, and we'll use that as our first target on this entry on a sell-off, on a continued sell-off. So two ways to approach it, two ways to get back in, depending on what the market does going forward, and give you something to watch today.
Overall, we are very bullish on Bitcoin, aren't we, right?
We are, but we're also very cognizant of the fact that before it goes to 1 million, it might test 6,000, 5,000, 3,000. And although we're overall bullish, we want to be safe, and we want to, keep our stops tight, especially on when it's trending lower and we're trying to buy in a market that has been trending a little bit lower. So,
but we want to also
don't want to confuse the overall feeling with what we're doing on these immediate trades here.
Right. And I think the takeaway for today, Nicholas, is that there's times where it just doesn't make sense to be diving into trades, no matter how bullish you are. And we'll leave you with a little trade secret, which is our brand. We like to make sure everybody knows all the ins and outs to watch for. So you've seen on the 30-minute chart to watch for patterns. Let me leave you today with some key numbers. We're always looking for key numbers that might trigger big moves. And we think this is a week where you could expect some big moves. So if you look at a daily chart on Bitcoin, you're going to see the last 5 days have shown some very interesting candles on the daily chart. This spiked up to its current high at 11.7, then reversed and actually dropped below the day before it. That's called a higher high reversal. But notice it ended up green, and that's a clue that it's slightly bullish. So you keep your eye on that. But even though it's slightly bullish, because it reversed and ended up inside this candle, the odds were it was going to drop. And we told subscribers that, and that's exactly what happened. It dropped back inside these channels. And guess what happened yesterday? We went above this green candle and dropped again. So now we've got 2 higher high reversals in 5 days. But because of this one 5 days ago, the market could turn any time. So the numbers to watch are 9,500. A close above 9,500 continues to be bullish short term for Bitcoin. And 10,500, which David mentioned, then you can start looking to get in long on a new trade. But if you close below 9,500, we're probably going into the lower part of this channel, and that'll trigger the lower trade. So always watch for these candles that go one direction and end up reversing the other by the end of the day. They almost always mean something. Back to you, Nicholas.
Well, thanks so much, guys, for this very detailed explanation. And even I'm surprised how much details you guys gave me. I learned a lot. I hope you guys did as well. Now, make sure you guys catch us on the next video for the very new trade we're looking to do that's not Bitcoin. See you guys later.